It's going to stop games from getting better. I think though if you're perching your game atop, millions and millions of pixels worth of textures and huge amounts of geometry and loads of rendered cutscenes and hours and hours of voiceover, then you probably do want a lot of discs.
So sorry, you're saying that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I'll leave that up to you guys. That's not my cup of tea.
I think what the Blu-ray does is it makes it a little bit easier for developers. You don't have to worry about trying to squeeze in your millions and millions of pixels into just a few gig. You've got that extra space to play around with. You're going to put some extra content on it, which is interesting. You can chuck on some movies and other bits and pieces. But I think ultimately the device it's going to be downloadable. It's going to be digital content eventually, but that'll be next generation. It's going to be 5-7 years before it's seriously the optical device is no longer an issue.
What about the console's online infrastructure? Xbox Live turned 5 this year. Generally around the industry, people consider it as the best implementation of the online service, the easiest to use, most sophisticated. Should that come into this argument at all? Does it matter, or should developers be the ones who are making innovative online features?
No, I think it's so much. Again, with a lot of respect to Sony, because I actually do really like the PS3. But the PlayStation Network just doesn't compete with Xbox Live. Like, the Xbox Live really is the gold standard for online gaming. And it's just, every part of the experience is better. And it's so nice to have, even things like accomplishments, achievements, whatever they call that thing, game points and, being able to just look. In fact, I was looking at Geometry Wars last night. I was going through, I'm number 326,000 in the world at Geometry Wars, and I was just going through and finding the rudest gamer tags and checking out what games they were playing. And just being able to do that and in an integrated fashion is just so nice. It's just so well put together. You can say a lot of things about Microsoft, but they're a software company and they make good software.
It's a great system for putting you in touch with the kind of people that will sort of, shout racial slurs in your ear whilst you're trying to play it. I respect what Microsoft's done in the online space. I think their infrastructure is clearly the strongest of the three, but you have to consider the user base of that pitching. That is an absolutely necessary mainstream feature for the Microsoft audience. I think Nintendo, where it's sort of been criticised for its online offerings, which are actually very strong in a lot of ways, are that they're sort of very protective of users, of privacy, and being mindful of that being a very young audience, very broad audience on the Wii. Everything has to be very accessible and also very safe. And this really, when you look at it, is a problem that Microsoft and Sony would love to have. To have that many different types of people using their online service. You've got, downloadable virtual console WiiWare games. You've got the ability to play online with your friends, so you add your friends list, which admittedly the friend code system, I think, is something that could be improved. But you can, we can play each other in a Wii game that we arrange, same as you can on Xbox Live. If I play with a random person, I can go to Mario Strikers and play that game with whoever online. What's missing is the ability for me to then kind of, make friends with that person, which to me, to be quite honest, Xbox Live, very good service, but the kind of, Halo 3, great game, the multiplayer had a lot of potential to it, but just not worth playing the game with the kind of people who play Halo 3. Just absolutely unbearable experience.
I think Microsoft's done a good job with the online stuff. They've not really changed much. They got it right with the Xbox, and they've improved it a little bit, incremental tweaks and whatnot. But what Sony's trying is to innovate. They're doing something different. Home is an attempt to do something that hasn't been done before. It's very early days yet, but I think we'll see some quite innovative and different online offerings from Sony in the future.
Yeah, Sony will offer gamers ways of sharing each other's Sony lifestyles and Sony products with one another in a carefully branded interactive environment. That would be very exciting indeed. I don't know who that's for. At least Nintendo and Microsoft seem to know their audience. Home to me makes very little sense. I don't know a single soul that's excited about that as from like a detached from industry game point of view. That is a bizarre offering.
It is bizarre, but that's it.
Should a console's price or reliability come into this argument at all? Some might argue that it's no good if punters can't play your masterpiece. If they can't afford the console or if it's on the blink. Does it matter?
Well, it does, obviously. It's not it's not just price either. I mean, if you want to buy a Wii, you go to the shop and you buy a Wii. It's a box that says Wii on it, and a person can go and buy a Wii and play whatever Wii software there is will run on that box. I think that something that Microsoft and Sony have gone badly wrong this generation is their SKU plans. I mean, with Microsoft, it's a very unclear message to people what's possible with either of their any of their different SKUs out of the box, bring it home. You know, I'm going to board a game, bought this, now I need a memory card, or you can go online, can I download this stuff? No, I can't need to buy this. It's a very expensive separate thing. With Sony, there's been like this mixed message about backwards compatibility and so on. So, you know, there's a lot of disgruntled people who are having a bad experience and then not going to continue to want to be part of gaming as it moves forward. I mean, I think those things are turning people, it's becoming more like PC gaming. It's very, very fragmented. Whereas I think what Nintendo has done is provided, you know, the amount of tech that you need to generate the kind of experience that people want, and wrapped it up in a very appealing, sensible package that's going to have a wide reach, which means that, as I say, I don't want to be too repetitive, but having a wide user base means that genuinely niche, different kinds of games can flourish. And that's where the new, great, fresh experiences come.
I think reliability is important in console. Obviously, you don't want to buy something and then have to take it back and get it repaired and, you know, do all that sort of stuff. And I think, Microsoft really dropped the ball on that one. Price for the PS3 is an issue at the moment, but I mean, Sony. I mean, I bought my PS2 for $850 when it came out. PS3 is now down to what, $700 a year, and it'll continue to drop. And within a couple of years, it's going to be probably cheaper than the 360 because Sony are mass producing all the bits and pieces that they use for other things as well. I mean, that's what they do. Is they take the hardware, they produce it, they improve it, they make it better and cheaper. And so.
One day they'll catch up to Nintendo again. That'd be good.
Well, no, because by then the Wii's going to be so obsolete and the game's going to be so old that, you know, Wii 3 will be out.
I think people are going to get sick of chasing this greater visual fidelity at the expense of genuine innovation. I don't think what's on the Wii is going to look holistically.
It's pretty hard to argue for the 360 in terms of reliability. $1 billion, and what?
I never had a console for like some of the 360 games, like I played 360 a bit, and you put the disc in the tray and you press the button, just everything you want. Is today going to be the day?
I think that's probably a mistake. But I mean,
they're
obviously, that's right, it's adding to the experience. Yeah, no, I mean, it's very hard to argue for the 360. Oh, it's cheaper than the PS3. How about that?
One quick one before we wrap up. High definition visuals, does that matter? Everyone's, you know, the big trend this Christmas will be everyone buying massive plasmas and LCDs. You know, is Wii going to look good enough in a couple of years' time when, you know, the majority of the population have high def panels?
But talking about the majority of the population has their high definition consoles hooked up to their TVs incorrectly. I don't think HD is as much on people's agenda as you might think. I wish I had this stat with me, but there's a terrifying percentage of people using the Xbox 360 with component cables with the switch flipped over to the SD side, or, you know, hooked up incorrectly and not making use of that. I don't think, to the average person, high definition visuals are not well understood, and they're not a key factor in determining either a purchasing decision or determining what makes a great game.
I think they are in terms of the purchasing decision. Like, one thing, as a gamer, I don't really care that much about HD, but when you go into like an Harvey Norman or whatever, and you actually see something like Motorstorm running in HD, you go, wow, that looks amazing, that looks so much. I mean, that's a step above previous generation games. And you can't...
fascinating, dodgy. It's really shiny.
It's also HD.
It's really a rat bag game, isn't it, too?
That was your fault.
Okay, guys, it's time to wrap it up. Couple of minutes each, just to reiterate your strongest arguments, why your particular console will deliver the best next-gen games.
Who wants to go first?
Cameron, perhaps you can start.
I'll go first. Okay, well, I'll reiterate the key points. First of all, pedophile, second of all, chipmunks, and third of all, gorillas. I think my key argument stands. I mean, we've heard, again, a lot of, you know, but sure, it doesn't happen now, but you just wait until the future is just going to be so good. Like, you can go and buy Bioshock right now, and it's great. You can buy Gears of War right now, it's great. You can buy Halo 3 right now, and if you don't play online, it's also great. You know, the 360 already has good games. If you had to recommend a console to your friend right now, you'd recommend 360, isn't it?
Yeah,